What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Video Game Basement. I'm so happy you guys are here today, and I'm so excited for this video, you guys. When I tell you that I was like a kid on Christmas last night, I just could not sleep. I love the game we're playing today. We're going to be playing one of my all-time favorite games, widely considered by many to be the GOAT of the Need for Speed franchise. It's going to be Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2005 release, of course, not the far inferior remake they shoveled out a couple of years ago. But yeah, guys, I love this game. It is iconic. I'm sure many of you have played it before, and I just cannot wait. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Alright, Need for Speed needs no introduction. I mean, one of the most iconic video game racing franchises ever, right up there with Forza and Gran Turismo. I played a lot of Need for Speed as a kid growing up. The first game that we had in my house was Hot Pursuit II, which was a great game. Awesome driving physics, really great lineup of cars, and at the time it felt like the pinnacle. Now, looking back on that game, you know, there were some drawbacks. There's no open world in that game, and the maps are not the biggest, so it ends up feeling a little bit restrictive as what you can accomplish as a player. There's basically one thing, which is, you know, win the race and outrun the cops. Then they came in with Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, and these completely changed the game. The maps were bigger, the soundtrack was incredible. I'm pretty sure most of us heard Get Low by Lil Jon for the first time in Need for Speed Underground 1, and frankly, I don't know if it's ever hit as hard since, but Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2 were big overhauls. The driving physics got a revamp, and the most important thing that they added to those games, which has become synonymous with the Need for Speed games ever since, was customization. You could take, you know, a stock Honda Civic, you could slam it, throw a wide body kit on it, customize your neons, and, you know, throw some new BBS rims on there. This really stepped up the game in terms of the feeling that it gave. It felt immersive, and it felt like these were your cars. You know, you were the street racer now. You weren't just driving a stock Lamborghini, you know, around a preset map. The other important thing to think about with these games is how they timed it in terms of the buzz going on with the Fast and Furious movies, right? So street racing was always a thing, but it really came into the mainstream with those movies, especially the first two. And Need for Speed Underground 1, 2003, Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003. So it was a pretty strategic move on EA's part, and I think it worked to perfection. Now, I don't want to give too much away for anyone who hasn't played the game yet, and you'll see soon as we start to jump into it, but the general premise of the game is that you have to work your way through 13 different bosses who are on the Blacklist. And as you develop your skills as a racer and earn more street cred, you start to take on higher and higher members on the list. It was a really, really cool idea and a great way to develop that sense of achievement in a game that keeps you coming back for more. Alright, you guys, I think I've sufficiently hyped it up. If you guys are ready, I know I am, let's jump into Need for Speed Most Wanted. Alright, you guys, well, as you can probably tell, it's a little bit later in the day. I ended up watching the Masters. Shout out Scotty Scheffler. Huge win today. But you know what? That's okay, because it's no wait for you guys. That's the magic of video editing. So let's jump into it here. Soundtrack goes crazy. So there's a lot of dialogue at the start of this game. It's a pretty dialogue heavy intro, so I'm going to do my best to include the scenes I think are important and skip the ones that aren't. So alright.
How's your car running?
Paper. I need your pink slip. He's dangerous. Be careful. He'll swat paint if he has to.
Alright, so
First, I'm gonna take your ride, then I'm gonna take your girl. Get ready for that.
Stay focused. He's rolling on a lot of power, so wait for him to shift first.
reposition the mic here. Alright, here we go. Our first race, right into it. Rockport Police Department, baby. Rockport City's finest. So a couple things I really like about the driving in this game. The first thing is the physics are really good. The cars have a really nice kind of heavy weight to them, if that makes sense. And it's pretty responsive. So based on the way you kind of take a corner or whatever, it feels decently realistic, as crazy as that is to say with what's going on the screen. I can't skip this cutscene, by the way, so sorry in advance. But the other thing is they added some cool features, which I'll try to show you guys in this race. Nitrous obviously had already existed from previous games. So we've got the nitrous here, a nice full tank in this car. And then the other thing, which I will show you guys soon, is they added this like slow motion time warp thing for, you know, if you have to make a sudden change like this, which is pretty cool. Mia just said there's something wrong with my ride. Oh no. What could be wrong with my ride? Good old Rockport City. It's weird that I'm just like weaving traffic on like a Thursday in the middle of the day, and now just fully racing her. But I guess that's the street racer's code. Uh-oh. Sergeant Cross. Oh no. He does not look like he's playing around.
Oh man, did you pick the wrong street to run on? This is a nice car.
No
Gauges,
shit.
shifter, wheel? Is this all for show, or is there something more I should know about?
I'd like to take a little peek under the hood.
Good idea.
Weird ass
Let
one-liner.
me tell you what's about to happen. We're gonna take your car, tear it apart, and see if it's street legal. You know, I'd lay odds that it ain't. Get a record out here.
Looks like your racing days are over.
Let me let you in on
I don't know who that. She's the worst.
Street racing in Rockport is finished. I've got a beautiful little surprise that's gonna tear you guys apart from the inside out. Now get out of the car.
Attention Patrol Division. Units are in a high-speed pursuit of multiple vehicles, aggressively evading custody. Units in the area directed to clear and head up to provide cover.
Uh-oh.
Next time, you won't be so lucky.
Oh, you dick. Look at him. Just keyed my car. What the hell, man?
Nice pinstripe.
Can't just do that. Man, this Sergeant Cross guy. Oh, who's this? A new opponent? Looks like he just came from Burning Man. Alright, Ronnie McRae, let's get after it. Oh, you know we got that perfect launch. I was practicing that from the Mario Kart days. Come on, Ronnie. But yeah, the driving physics are really good. And the maps have some nice routes in them. It's honestly, it was a huge overhaul from previous games, which I know I talked enough about that before. For anyone who did play this game, drop a comment below. Did you guys like this game? Do you remember playing it? Were you more of a Forza person, or were there any other racing games? What was your favorite racing game growing up? It can even be something as classic as Mario Kart. There's no shame. Mario Kart is a great pick. And Mario Kart 64 is probably at the top of my list. Although my brother always managed to beat me. I feel like I've talked about that a couple times now, but you know, when you have an older sibling that's 6 years your senior, they tend to dominate you in video games a little bit. Not the cleanest line on that last turn, I'm not gonna lie. I'm mastering the art of narrating while driving, but these are all pretty easy races. They are a prelude of sorts. Alright, so I'm gonna skip this cutscene, but basically all that happens is you meet up with this crew and you meet Razor, who's
What did I tell you?
Razor, he shadowed me. I
this
couldn't shake
guy,
him.
and that's who we were racing at the start of the game. And
Another bolt-on Wonder Boy looking.
he tells you about the
Why
Blacklist.
don't we save you the
So
grief and peel those parts right now?
the 15 racers who we have to beat, or 14 that we have to beat before we get to him. And there's Mia, our friend / love interest. So alright, so enough of that. Oh, I can't skip this. Okay, well, never mind. Oh, I can. Alright, so now we have to face Toro, or Toru or something. We don't get to face Razor yet because he's so high up on the list. We have to earn the right to race him. But we have this incredibly stacked car to start the game that's just far superior, so it's very difficult to lose these races, as you might imagine. Now this is another cool feature they added, the radar at the top there. Big fan of that. Let you know when cops were coming, and not that there's really anything you can do about it when you're in a race, but just cool little innovations like that. You got to imagine, right? It's 2005. Like, we haven't seen that yet in a Need for Speed game. So little additions like that at the time felt so like groundbreaking and cool. Like the fact that they had thought of that to add it to the game, and it still holds up, I think. I'm definitely using that OP time slowing more than I should on intro missions, but I want to make sure we don't have to do any replays for you guys, so we can get to the main campaign soon enough. Alright. Another dub for the M3. That is a nice M3. I actually saw a guy on Instagram recently who had modded his M3 to look exactly like this car from Need for Speed, and it was sick. I wish I had the time and the money to do that, but I have neither, so I'll just stick with the video game. Alright, so gonna skip this. I guess there's nothing really to skip, but another race. All of this, you know, earning my credit to get to Razor, even though he's a huge D-bag. Razor. Classic villain name. There's never been like a protagonist or a good guy named Razor. No stories, no movies that end with Razor coming out on top. The lighting was another part of this game that I thought was really cool, you know, depending on which area of the city you were in and what time of day. They have these different sort of color filters over everything. So this part right now has this kind of almost yellowish, kind of very industrial hue to it, and then in that earlier race we had that kind of warm, like sunlight almost kind of. So those are just little details that add to the immersion of the game, which I think go a long way. This is a 2-lap race, so we'll fly through this pretty quick. I can even fast forward the rest of this lap for you guys.
Just because I want to get to the meat of the story. I'm probably fast forwarding right now, so my voice will sound a lot different. That was a terrible turn. Alright. Coming up on the finish line.
There. I also like that the nitrous is regenerative, which is just, if you know anything about cars and how actual nitrous cans work, that's just not at all possible, but it's a video game. Alright.
Good run. I like your style. Just make sure you watch your back with these guys, alright? See you around.
Uh-oh.
What's up, poser? I'm glad you're putting it down out there. I really am, because I can't wait to get a crack at that ride. What? Didn't anybody tell you? You gotta put your ride on the line to run against a Blacklist racer.
Oh, shit.
And that is why people aren't stupid enough to do it.
Pink slips only for the Blacklist, baby. Alright. I'm not scared of you, Razor. I'll take you on, man. Present day. Alright, well, we saw all this before, so no need for all that. Another perfect launch, not a big deal. Let's just empty the nitrous off the jump. Just get a nice commanding lead on him, although I don't think it's gonna matter. Not to spoil anything, but you did hear there was an oil leak when we saw the prelude of this before. It's amazingly clear on the highways today for such a metropolitan, like, major city. Everyone got the memo that Razor and his boys were racing. Oh shoot. It's the cops. Oh, you bet your ass we got a street race, buddy. I'm facing the Blacklist. Now, one thing that you guys will see as we get into the game later, again, for anyone who hasn't played, is there's a series of cop cars, so they get progressively more robust and well armed as we go on. I think the most difficult of which is a very, very reinforced SUV, but we'll revisit that later. Right now we're just trying to beat Just trying to beat Razor, which we're doing pretty handedly for a guy who is running his mouth so much. He's like a mile back there, and it's German engineering versus American muscle. It's a tale as old as time, and so far the BMW is just dominating.
Hey, there's something wrong with your ride. You left a huge oil slick at the start line. You have to end the race.
Oh no, an oil slick. End the race fast. I'm going as fast as I can already. It's a race. Oh no! Shit. Something's up here. I smell funny business.
Thank you for the ride. I knew you weren't Blacklist.
Alright, well, I'm gonna skip this. This is a long cutscene. But basically, Razor messed with your car, and Sergeant Cross throws you in jail for a bit, and he took your car. So now he has the BMW, and we have nothing. Good times. So going from that super nice, souped-up BMW to these options. I want the Golf because I want to make a hot hatch, but I can't afford it. I don't know why they give you the option to buy a car that you are $5,000 short of, but I digress. Let's do the Fiat. I think we're gonna have to make a hot hatch. And now we're gonna, I think, have to go meet. Yeah.
Hey, it's me. Check out your map.
Alright, sounds good. So we gotta go meet Maya somewhere. Well, this Fiat's got a little bit of pickup for a stock hatchback. Now, the nice thing with this is we just get to see how much this car improves. You know, when you start with a bottom tier car, you put the love and the TLC into it, and that's where those upgrades come into that I was talking about before. Alright, so
you found it all right. What do you think?
alright, so I'm gonna skip this one too. This is Mia just telling us that it's our safe house and we have to work our way up the Blacklist. So there you go. Our first boss is Sunny, 15 on the Blacklist. Oh, and he drives a Golf GTI. He's dumped a whole lot of work into his car, or cash. That ride is worked, so don't be fooled. It's a rocket. Okay. Cool. Alright guys, well, I think that's probably a good place to call it. We're introduced to Rockport City. We've got our first target on the Blacklist. And yeah, I think that's a good intro to this Let's Play series. We'll pick it up next time with a couple races, some upgrades, and eventually we'll be able to take on our boy here, Sunny, with his really dope look he's got going. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will look forward to catching you guys next time on the next episode of Video Game Basement. Thanks guys, and talk to you soon.